Thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of Back to the City. I'm very excited to be joined by Al Church for the 20th episode.
Ooh, 20.
20.
Whoa.
20th episode, the finale of season 2. When you put out next summer, there was a senior year party. Was there like a theme to the party?
To the
release show.
The release show was games of chance.
Games. So there's a recurring theme.
Games. Yes.
And you needed to sit down at the last one because you needed to rest your legs.
Right.
After having jumped all the way.
Right.
To the turf
right.
club.
Jumping 20. It was like 2,400 times or something. 24 something.
In the music video, of course, to Birthday Party.
Yes.
On the green screen, this is a green screen.
Yes.
There is currently the Tambourine Field music video.
Oh, fantastic. Underwater.
Underwater, yeah. If you're going to try and persuade someone that you haven't lost your tambourine feel, then managing to perform underwater, I'd say is a pretty persuasive way to do so.
Exactly.
Jeff playing those drums, pretty tricky. He hasn't lost his tambourine feel.
He hasn't. No, he kept it super solid underneath that in that pool. We had a plan to do it in the deep end.
Okay.
He was going to drum in the deep end. Didn't.
Just logistically?
Logistically. Jeff is amazing underwater, by the way. Micah, the director of the video, was...
Micah Dahl.
Micah Dahl. Unbelievable. The only reason that video happened was because of him and his determination.
Troubleshooting determination.
I remember it was like 3 weeks before, he's like, we need to buy a bag for the underwater, and so I went on Amazon and bought this like amazing like underwater bag because he has like amazing cameras like these like you guys like just like really high quality expensive
not this one
equipment. Not that
this
one. Maybe,
camera that's currently
that one
don't not very good.
Yeah, don't go to that one. So we got this really really nice bag.
Yeah,
and he would dive down. He would be down there holding his breath for, like, I don't know, a minute and a half.
Wow.
He would be down there. I would be all the way up, down.
Come down for you.
Up, getting for air, going back down, coming back up for air. He would still be down filming.
Wow.
Like, and then I was, at one point, I thought Micah was dead. And I was like, dude, I think Micah's dead.
He's under. I've done
drowning.
3 takes.
Yeah, yeah. It's like and then he just like pops up. He's like, that was a fun video to make.
It must have been.
Yeah.
And probably less painful than the previous
Less
one.
painful.
Yeah.
Yes, in some ways.
For you.
Right, yeah, less painful for me. Yeah. Oh, that was me getting back at Micah, actually. I was like...
Was Micah involved?
It was Micah's idea.
The jumping.
Yeah, the jumping.
The song The Clock on Next Summer had a dance. I recall dancing to The Clock.
Yes.
Will there be any dancing to any of the songs on this record?
This record, there's not a group dance.
Okay.
But the album is fairly dancey.
It is.
You know, considering that it's darker.
Yeah.
A little darker. Night Games, my whole idea with it is like the a little bit more how I was kind of imagining it was a little more of a night, and I think I've even talked to you about this.
We did, yeah.
It was like, I think the Next Summer was a very summery kind of daytime album, and then this kind of is a little bit more, takes place primarily at night, don't go to sleep kind of album.
Yeah, we stayed out all night till the morning light.
Yeah.
For example, in the lyrics to Night Games.
That's right, there you go. Yeah.
So there is a shift from day to night, but there's driving still.
Oh yeah.
Driving is quite prominent in both.
Yes.
When we were talking following the release of the previous record, we spent a lot of time talking about the song Turquoise Sun.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite on the record on Next Summer.
Yeah. Thank you. One of the problems with releasing an album and not having any money is like, I wanted a music video for that song.
Right.
So bad.
What would the music video have involved?
Well,
pain.
Yeah, it's just I could see like a desert.
Yeah, desert highway.
Desert highway.
Yeah.
It's all in the lyrics, right?
There is this image.
Yeah.
So there was a 10-page zine.
Yes.
That came out, yeah?
Yeah.
And you were saying in a previous interview but one that this would be like the movie poster.
Right.
If there was a next summer movie,
right,
then this would be the movie poster.
Right.
What does this image encapsulate about the previous record? What are the attributes of Next Summer?
That, to me, it's like washed out, sun drenched.
Yeah, daytime,
like
important.
Like just wind in the hair, just like just kind of getting away from something, going like off the grid.
Right, escaping for the summer. Before you were saying, imagining driving out west, leaving Minnesota, going to Montana or Washington, California.
Totally.
So that's the trajectory of the previous record.
Right.
Memories are dragging on like a cigarette in the lyrics too.
Yep.
So there is a kind of nostalgia, is there? Or what's happening with that? Just to get a sense of what's happening when we're driving in that record, and then what's happening when we're driving at nighttime in this new record.
Yeah, this new environment is like way more like city, like in a city.
We haven't escaped.
Right.
We're escaping from is the city that we're in a familiar city?
I think so. Yeah, like it's definitely more neon and bright, and I was kind of like thinking like Blade Runner. You know what I mean? Where it's like I love that movie. And have you seen the new one?
I haven't. Okay. Is that the movie that you know?
No, it's the original one.
Sure.
Yeah, and just like it doesn't have to be a familiar city. It could be like something in like when I was a kid, I would actually have like weird dreams about going to like just having this kind of imaginary city in the woods. And it was like, it was a reoccurring dream that I had that was like very neon green, I grew up in Duluth, like right next to a huge trail and a bunch of woods, which it was so cool. And
which will feature in the song Night Games.
Right.
Well, there are woods.
Yeah. That's that song, and how the album Night Games and the title track of that song is all about my like childhood dreams of kind of also having like to capture the flag and kick the can and all those night games that we used to play.
You play them in the woods?
Yes. Yeah.
And then you would dream. Where's the dream coming?
Also, so the dream it's kind of two separate ideas, but the dream, and not necessarily with like night games, but more like Hot Night.
Yeah.
Hot Night is a one that really reminds me of like, of having that dream of like, it was me like walking in the woods, and then because there was a road, and it was like we lived like right kind of by the cul-de-sac, and then there's this road that went in like into the woods, and it like went into this trail. And so my dream would always be like me like breaking out of my house at night, and then taking a right and going all the way down the road. And then once I entered the woods, there was just this crazy like carnival basically of like all these different lights and so I think it was kind of like maybe what I saw in like movies and stuff, you know.
It reminds me specifically of The Snowman, with the animated British Christmas movie with David Bowie. David Bowie is the grown-up boy at the beginning. Here he is, but they go. The snowman flies the little kid, no less, to the woods.
Really?
Where he meets Santa Claus and gets to dance with
you
all the snowmen having a party. So, so it sounds quite.
That's it.
It sounds not dissimilar.
I have to see that.
Yeah, it's not in neon green.
Okay.
That's the difference.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know why those colors. Yeah, those colors were definitely. Yeah.
And you
important.
Also important is that you had to sneak out of the house. You had to break out of the house because presumably your parents would think that it wasn't safe to do this.
Exactly.
Which is important in the song.
It is.
Yeah. Why is it? So what's the song saying about safety?
Yeah, I feel like parents now, we have so much of a hold on our kids' lives. Like we have like parents are monitoring every single moment with cell phones. When I was a kid, like I went to school and then came home. You couldn't keep me inside for like a second. I would come home, drop my backpack off, and just hang out with the neighbor kids and find something to. There was never a time where I was like, oh, I'm just gonna stay inside and hang out with my parents. It's like get out. I had to get out, and explore and like. And
they were okay with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. There was like, for dinner, like I remember just my mom being like, it's dinner, and so from time like getting home from school, it's like, all right, we're gonna just like do whatever. Like,
and for example,
build a fort
out of crates,
right? Out of
like in the song.
Yeah, exactly. Kids are very safe now. I feel, and with technology, we feel safer. In this, we feel safer. Like, oh well, I know people. Parents have GPSs on their kids' phone. That they can track. Yeah. Like, oh, so I know. My parents didn't know at all what I was doing.
Regardless of whether things are safer or more dangerous, just the technology that enables this surveillance creates the possibility of being safer.
Exactly.
And therefore a drive to be safer.
Right.
And a fear about not having the GPS. So you don't have GPS on your kids?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
How irresponsible.
And I think there's something that happens with that, like there's something that's breaking away from your parents or breaking away from that safety is where creativity happens, right? Yeah. I mean, that's like...
Is that the kind of... Does that relate to maybe like the night driving in the records? This sense of being outside of the house?
Yeah, escaping. Yeah, escaping and...
Because the recurring lyric is, it's not safe to go outside the windows of your home.
Right. And that's like the parental... that's like the parental...
That's a voice that counters what's happening in the verses. And then calling our names kept calling your name.
Yeah.
There's something like haunting about that. That's how the song ends as well, with the repetition of calling the name.
Yeah.
What is the relationship between the celebration of what the kids are doing in the verses and then the parents' voice? Do they have unwarranted concern and it's stopping the fun, or is there a sense that the parents are tapping into a real danger within the song?
Yeah, what do you think? I think there's some danger for sure there.
Yeah. I feel like the narrative through the verses too, like at one moment...
That's how I'm thinking of it.
It seems, even within the verses, because it begins as just fun, but then the bikes are left in the woods at one moment, and then in the final verse, then you see a neighbor on a stolen bike.
Yes, yep. My next door neighbor when I was growing up was crazy, and she actually chased... the first day we moved in, we were playing soccer, and we kicked a ball into their yard, and she came out and she grabbed the ball and she stabbed it with a knife.
With a knife?
The first day we moved in. My brothers were like, "What?" Like
that didn't put an end to your games, but it
it just started it. But there was a sense of danger when I was a kid,
right?
Because she actually chased our neighbor with a knife.
Wow.
And she went to a mental institution. And
because of that?
No. It was that happened years later.
I see. Okay.
So we were living right next door to her.
Yeah.
My whole childhood.
Yeah.
Her husband was weird too, and he would be in a pink robe, and he would be at 2 a.m. mowing the lawn, and
which is referenced in
in
one of the songs.
Yes,
song?
it is.
Is that the same? Is that the title track?
It's not the title track. That's Hot Night.
Right.
Hot
okay.
Night, yeah.
So both of these, the Night Games and the Hot Night.
Yeah, they're connected.
And they're both connected to your childhood.
Yeah.
And the neighborhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And colors of having that hot pink robe.
Yeah.
And that was it's kind of still sticks with me, and not necessarily in my subconscious of it's not a thing that I still dream about or anything, but
sure. But you think about it.
Yeah, I think about that.
Yeah.
And it is weird when you listen to it. You're kind of like how you said in the verses. You had these kids. They're playing. It's playful. It's all these things, and then so it's hard finding that balance when you're writing a song.
Yeah, it's wistful. The chorus is wistful.
Yeah, and I hesitated a little bit because I think there's something really fun about just having.
Yeah, just the verses.
Let
the kids play.
Yeah, just let the kids play.
Who let the parents in?
Nothing dark happens. Nothing dangerous happens. But
it's a game.
But my experience was a little dangerous.
Right.
There's this whole almost this thing of danger always.
Yeah.
But my parents weren't more my mom wasn't was oh, you can't go outside.
Whereas parents now.
Which parents now, I think if that was the same situation where the neighbor was insane.
Right.
I mean, she would be yelling at us all the time. Knife wielding.
Person.
She had our neighbor was the coolest guy. He was a salmon fisherman. So he would go.
The pink robe.
No. This is the guy that got chased with the knife.
Oh wow. Okay.
So she chases him with the knife, and then so we're in school, and so I get the call from the principal Al Church, John Seitz, Eric Carlson, report to and those are my neighbor kids, friends. Yeah. And they're report to the principal's office. And we're like, what did I do?
Yeah.
And so, we had to be escorted. But my dad said he went into the house after they were arrested, and she had knives just in a circle on the table.
Wow.
Her furniture was still in in the plastic. She had all the furniture.
Well, she needs to get out of the plastic.
Yeah.
Totally innocent.
Yeah, totally, yeah. Yeah.
Each plastic bag needs a different knife.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So, totally normal.
Mystery solved.
Yeah, mystery solved, exactly. So.
Could have cleared stuff up. But then there wouldn't be the sense of danger in the record.
Right,
which I'm thankful for.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to have the danger.
Good thing I wasn't there to explain. Technology has come up.
Yeah.
And technology is something else which is important. When we first talked about the record, when you came over to Cyanide Radio for early Back to the City, you were highlighting that the new songs that you were working on had to do with nights, but also had to do with social media and how we broadcast our lives.
Yeah.
And you said it's like we're living in the Truman Show. If you think about how we put our whole life on Instagram.
We're there. We're already, Yes. Yeah, I think about that way too much, probably.
The fact that that analogy?
What we do how we are perceived.
Yeah.
How we want people to perceive us in the social media world.
Right.
It's a different world.
It warrants thinking about a lot because it has become such a massive aspect of our lives, and
it's a massive aspect of a musician's life.
Oh, absolutely! In terms of
self-promoting,
which one has to do, of course.
Right. Yeah. And how
Al Church as opposed to Alan Church.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Just the human being Alan Church, and then the musical artist Al Church.
Exactly. Yeah. It's crazy to think we are putting up so much, and I know people that don't put up anything.
Musicians who don't.
Yeah. I don't know. There's musicians that are less so. I've had these conversations with friends and musician friends that are. I'm like, am I posting like too much about
my music
or my and usually it's. I feel like I have a hold on it a little bit. I try not to do too much of.
Yeah.
But I see, and I've seen
I'm
just
not sure I do.
Yeah, I don't think I know. I try to we were just on a trip recently, and I was like, when you're on a trip, like you're just like taking pictures all the time, and you're like, oh, I want to post this, I want to post this, I want to post this. That's when I feel more that I want to like share my life is when I'm traveling,
right?
When I'm on tour.
It's not about you. It's
about the experience,
the place, the experience.
Totally.
Yeah. So I was going to highlight this that we're talking about broadcasting our life, and at the end of the record, that's where that comes up most explicitly in the lyrics.
Do you like your coffee?
I do love my coffee.
You like it?
Yeah, we were talking about the end of the record, and nice seg.
There you go.
I'm addicted to caffeine.
I'm addicted
to caffeine and nicotine. I'm addicted to caffeine and nicotine.
And booze,
booze.
Yeah.
And also love, though. This love is the drug. Love is a drug.
Love is a drug. It is.
Good old Brian Ferry.
Yeah.
But Brian Ferry shares that with you now. This the song is called "This Drug."
Yes.
And the opening lyric is "This Love," I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so love is a drug.
This drug you gave me, yeah.
There is an addiction to social media that's referenced in the song as well. Mm-hmm. Because if you're addicted to caffeine and nicotine and booze, then, or if the voice, the character is, then there's an address in the middle of the song to someone else. You're addicted to the pictures you take of yourself. The fingers on the screen
swipe
to the
left. Yeah,
it's better when you do it.
Yeah. I do a lot of falsetto in this album.
You do, yeah. There is.
I'm worried about it.
No, it's great.
Because if you think about it, like some of the falsetto is like.
Are you worried about the impact on?
Oh yeah,
your voice.
Because it's like you're screaming. It's like basically like screaming. It's the same thing as that it does to your vocal cords.
Yeah. Sounds good, Dick.
Yeah, it does sound good.
Live in the present.
I like it. Yeah. My next 10 albums from now, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I'll break away from it.
But the falsetto, that is a sonic feature, I think, of this one. Is there a reason why? Does it fit with?
Yeah, it fits.
It fits somehow.
Yeah. And I've always loved the just super high falsettos and Under Pressure, where it's just like that big ending where it's like
Absolutely.
Can't do it. It's too early in the morning right now, but I usually do it perfect. But it's like there's something really really fun about because
it fits with the childhood exuberance, playful component. I think of the concept.
Yeah, for sure, and it's when you're it's that balance of like when you're writing a song.
Yeah.
Having melodies and interesting melodies that are unique and so searching a little bit for like some interesting inflections and
And a really good example of that is the melody in Night Games, where it's kind of playing back and forth, and it always ends on the kind of the falsetto.
Yeah,
there's clues to the meaning of the song, or like how to take the song in the journey of the melody there.
Right.
I think.
Oh, for sure.
So what is the significance of the melody line?
In Night Games?
In Night Games, yeah.
It's honestly, I went through Instagram.
Yeah.
And I
swiping
and exactly. And there I do this thing with melodies and with lyrics where I'll go through people's lives.
Yeah.
And I'll and
form a narrative.
Through my and then also through my feed, right? It's like my friends.
Yeah.
And so my friends are posting photos all the time, and what that means, it gives me inspiration. That song didn't start out as it wasn't like, oh, I want to write a song about night games or whatever, but it came about because of the melody came first of like da 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 da, and I remember having it just like da 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 da, and like in my head.
That's the soundtrack to
it was the soundtrack to like. Oh,
I wish that was the soundtrack to my looking through Instagram. It can be now.
Yeah, can be. Just put it on and explore. So the demo of the song that all the musicians in the band heard when we recorded it is completely different. I went back and I changed all of the lyrics, but I used it as a template to get the song. And so there was all these just different it was just fragmented. That melody is definitely, for me, it's cemented in like that process of doing it, of like scoping other people's lives out. I don't know if I have a couple friends that do black and white. They do their phone.
Okay.
So when it's like colored phones, right? Like just the idea of having a computer in your pocket that is bright in all these colors, and it's very intriguing. It's very like I got to do this, right? I mean, it's like, well, my life is really boring, right? You know, like you're walking down the street and you're like, oh, and then you're like, oh, all these like you have this brightness in your
larger than life.
Yeah. And so I have a couple friends that do black and white.
They set their phone to black and white.
They set their phone to black and white, and so
to make their life more interesting.
Exactly, their life is more interesting than their phone, which is true.
Which is true.
Damn it! I'm just sort of holding a public service,
thank you.
Yes. Trying to say your life is important, man, and your life is better than your damn phone.
Than the simulation of my life.
Right.
That I present.
Right.
On my phone.
Yeah.
I think that there does remain an impressionistic quality. There's just little details. And then if you're paying attention to all those details, you can form a narrative. Like, for example, the bikes being left and then the stolen bike being driven. But there's other stuff like that as well. Red rusty stripes.
Yeah.
Okay, and waiting for the chorus. Mm-hmm. I think that's really strong on this record. Just like the right concrete image.
Yeah.
To provide a sense of context and a mood.
Big time. Yeah.
Well, we're driving again there. Yeah. Is that correct? So what are these red rusty stripes?
Yep. There's a narrative that kind of within all these songs are there's like there's these details that kind of piece together a story.
Yeah.
That you could either notice it or not.
Yeah. Just like you could look at someone's Instagram feed and think, oh, this is what's happening in their life,
right?
But you could not.
Right. And it goes fast. It's like you're from a verse to a chorus, it could be a totally different picture.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about verse to chorus regarding a song called "Waiting for the Chorus."
For the chorus.
Wait for it.
Right. You gotta wait for it.
Very seems to be the opening lyric.
Yeah. I love the. Camry. I gotta give a shout out to my old Toyota Camry in that song.
Yeah, you do. Put the cassette in the Camry tape deck.
Put the cassette in the Camry tape deck. Does that even rhyme? The cassette in the Camry tape deck.
Para rhyme.
Yeah, right.
Kind of, yeah.
I don't know.
So back in Turquoise Sun, then when we were talking about that, and there's the driving.
They're sister songs for sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
There were those triplets with the drums.
Yeah.
And you were imagining, you were saying, if you're going on a road trip,
right,
you might listen to Modest Mouse or something.
Oh yeah.
And then
Lonesome Crowded West.
Yeah, and then then there's the
Love
triplets.
that album.
Yeah.
That's the album. It's funny. Do you have those albums where you have those road trip albums that are essential road trip? Did we talk about that?
Well, there isn't enough road in England to have a proper road trip.
Right.
So I have less road trip albums.
Some of my most memorable road trips are the tour we did in England. Where we.
What was the soundtrack?
We were. I think it was like the BBC. Because
good old BBC.
Good old BBC. Micah comes into play again.
Really?
Micah was the tour manager of our first European England. We did.
Is this
we didn't even go to
State? Or what?
This is the Umbrella Sequence.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Cool.
So Ryan, the keyboard player for our band,
Yeah.
Church, Ryan.
There he is.
Beautiful Ryan. He fronted a band that I played in called the Umbrella Sequence. And we went to Europe.
Before my time, but I am aware of it.
Yes. Yeah. It's beautiful, awesome band. Super fun. I cut my teeth like with that band. I learned so much from Jake Swager. So Jake Swager, he's the guitar player for Umbrella Sequence.
Yeah.
He also does all my artwork.
Yeah.
Except, Tori, she did the album cover. She was doing these paintings of Instagram photos.
Oh.
And so the album cover is an Instagram photo from my buddy Jerry.
Appropriately Instagram.
So her painting was like that, and so that's the album cover.
Yeah.
Which you probably see there.
Which we certainly can see. I can't.
So so that and so it's a big painting. I mean, like the actual painting is a picture of it, and it's about the size of this wall.
Oh wow! Was it planned to be the album cover at the time?
No.
And it works really well, doesn't it?
It works really well.
Why, in your opinion?
I think my process too with this album was like kind of with what we were talking about with the Instagram feeds and like using it as like you can take, like you said, you can form a narrative if you want. That's our world right now. We can form our own truths
from fragments,
from just fragments of pictures, of videos.
Yeah.
I think about Bohemian Rhapsody, like, is this just real life? Is this just fantasy? And there's some awesome things with it. It's not this like I'm not trying to be a downer. You can think of it like a dream. You can think of it like it's real life. It's fake. It's real.
This record embraces that.
Yeah, I think so.
That's like the ethos and the aesthetic of the record to some extent.
In some ways, yeah. I would say so. At least with the process of creating it. The process was in similar to what Tori was doing with her paintings. Like she did like, I don't know, 20, 30 different huge scale paintings of different photos that she saw.
What's it all from Instagram?
Instagram.
And what's the significance of that process, do you think?
I just think that's like a way to, for me, it's just finding some details in other people's lives and being like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's like, or whatever. Like that's like someone else's story.
Yeah.
And everyone has their story now.
Right.
And you can
explicitly. That's like what that means has changed.
Right.
Your Instagram story.
Right. Yeah. Your story. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
You don't need to have a narrative arc. You just need to have like your story for the day.
Right. Yeah. And people want to share that all the time.
Right.
Some people do.
So it's interesting. There are these two strands, I think, in the records. So there's this focus on your childhood and early childhood, pre-social media, with similar age. So like, there's not even really the internet dominating one's social interactions.
Right.
There's playing these night games in the woods and stuff like that.
Right.
But then there's also this recurring focus on technology.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting how those two quite different strands like interweave and interrelate throughout the record.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What is how do they relate to one another? Like the focus on technology and the analogy between like how Instagram functions and some of the songwriting process. Yeah. How does that relate to looking back at the pre-social media, pre-internet childhood?
I just think there's experiences that are beyond your phone world.
Yeah, and we're lucky in our generation.
Oh man,
that was our childhood.
That was our childhood.
Yeah.
And I think there's stories there. There's creativity there, and that I guess I don't want kids to lose that. When you're a kid, you shouldn't be worried about like how your social media,
how you're coming across, what your social media persona is.
Yes. Yeah. And
maybe if you're like a little mini rock star that needs to promote their record release or something,
right?
Then but otherwise,
right. There's like those experiences are important, like being away from this like world that we have created. I think that the reason it weaves,
yes, is
I'm kind of in my own head, like weighing the positives and the negatives of it, of like what is like growing up the way I did. Like there's no safety net, really. Mm-hmm. It felt that way, and so
in retrospect, or
in retrospect, in retrospect, and then we have now like there's all these trends like chill music.
Right.
Like Spotify is like the most listened to thing is like this like chill, right?
Yeah. What
is that? It's like chill. People want to just listen to something really comforting. I know that's,
and it's part of a lifestyle.
I think it is. It's a lifestyle. It's also like a reaction. Why are musicians like? Why aren't we talking about like all these political things that are happening? All like every day, every single day, you could look at your news feed and you can look at the world and see all the darkness, the terrible things, right? Mm-hmm. So
these days, I mean, generally, especially
every single day.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to even you don't have to look for it. I'm not trying to be a down. Again, I'm not trying to like be like a downer, but there's a weird sadness with like doing that, with like just like being inundated with the terrible news of like,
right. So the chill music kind of comes to exist.
It's a reaction for sure,
as an escape.
Yeah, and so where does that? Are we just going to be escaping now is that
right?
Is that our future? Like, are we just going to be like, the world is so terrible, and I'm like,
I need to chill.
I need to just chill. Yeah. It's do you think the like Beatles were thinking about like chilling and like about like, oh, we gotta really create music that's like really not pushing any boundaries.
Right.
So
I think that there's a really interesting combination between there being the impressionistic component and the fragments that reflect the modern technology like Instagram and the Instagram story. But then there are these narrative arcs throughout the record as well. Mm-hmm. So what's the significance? The opening track is Night Drive, and it begins in medias res and your reaction with something new.
Yeah.
What's the significance of
something new?
Good opening.
Ryan, yeah. Thank Ryan for that. Ryan wrote that.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. The lyric and the melody?
Yep.
Why does the record begin with with an emphasis on reactions and with an emphasis on the reaction being something new? In a song called Night Drive as well.
Yeah.
Three interesting components, I think.
So Night Drive, Ryan showed it to me, and I just, like, it was a song that, like, he was like, maybe we could, like, Jake and Ryan, it was kind of written, like, before next summer.
Oh, really?
Right, yeah. And I think, like, that song almost was like, this is really cool. I want to, like, explore this feeling of when you're a certain age, like, you get a car, you have like your friends, like, and you just drive somewhere, and you're just like, you're not even, like, you're just kind of,
no sense of, it doesn't matter where
it doesn't matter where you're going, it's just you're going. And so
it does matter that you've got the cassette and the Camry.
Right.
That's what matters.
That's what matters.
The soundtrack.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like that song kind of, yeah, it was a good start for me. It was like Ryan and I and Jake. So Jake, Ryan, and I, probably my, closest collaborators for sure.
Core trio.
Yeah, it's a trio of, and Jake came up with a guitar riff, and yeah, so that one's definitely the most collaborative, and Ryan wrote that reaction lyric. What does that mean to you?
For me, it's interesting. I'm thinking about this song again in relation to the turquoise sun narrative, because there we've got the memories dragging on like a cigarette, and it's focusing on the past. Mm-hmm. Here, the future talks to me through yellow lines. Yeah. So the context is driving still, but it seems like we're not trying to escape from something. We're in the present moment, reacting, interacting. Right. And it seems new and exciting, and we're not.
Definitely,
So it's either present or future oriented, whereas Turquoise Sun is yearning to be away from a past, which is the case throughout Next Summer, because we're yearning for next summer, when the aftermath of whatever's just happened, it's no longer there. Yeah. But here, Night Drive, we're at next summer.
We are in the future, and it also feels like a present song, in a like a current day, or future, or of like. It's a because of the drivingness of it too. It's just like it's got Turquoise Sun is too.
It's interesting how many different driving can evoke so many different things.
Yes, yeah, and the driving of the driving is different. Like the Turquoise Sun driving, I totally get. Maybe it's like the way it's mixed too. Like there's like something about Turquoise Sun that feels classic.
Sure. Yes.
And I like that about it.
Yes.
But then with Night Drive, it's a different sounding song. Just because it was the most hands I think on deck. Right. Like because Jake, it started with Jake and then Ryan and then through me. So like the three of us had all of our hands kind of in it.
It's interesting to hear how collaborative it is, because a recurring lyrical focus is this sense of not being entirely set on the destination or not caring too much about where we end up. Right. Which fits, I think, with a collaborative songwriting process. Big time. Yeah. I like that in Night Drive you are letting other people drive as well. Yeah.
Yes.
With it being collaborative. I don't let you drive because you drive too fast. Mm-hmm. One reason why one wouldn't let someone else drive because they drive too fast is because of danger, which we talked about.
Absolutely. Gotta have the danger.
But another reason is because you don't want it to pass. You don't want the experience to end. And it seems like that is more the case in this song. Yeah. And it's a case for the whole that song, and then the experiences. It never ends, right? So the sense of we're driving and we're living, and we're not thinking, oh, this could be a good Instagram story.
Right. Exactly.
We're just driving.
And
we don't want it to end, because it's not the norm to be just experiencing life without the lens of what. How am I going to present this?
How do I present it exactly?
How am I going to broadcast this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
With that opening lyric and your reaction was something new, it places us in the present, breaks us away, and I think something similar is happening with the end of the delivery of that line in the title track. It's going back and forth, this analogous to looking through Instagram, but then I think there's this moment of escape when it goes to falsetto. I feel like that's kind of sonically similar to imagining the kids running off to the woods. Yeah. To me, it sounds like there are these moments of escape, but they're not moments of escape. It's not like deciding to put on the chill music. They're moments of being more present, and more engaged, and more reactive than at other times. Right. And I relate that to realizing that one hasn't lost one's tambourine feel.
Right.
So how does the idea of losing or not losing one's tambourine feel, which no, of course you haven't lost,
Yeah.
How does that fit into the record?
I think some of the best tambourine tracks are jangly, and it's not perfect, and it's not in time really, and there's like this like imperfect thing that we don't really talk about.